The insult cut deeper than any storm. Parasites. That's what my father spat across the dinner table. Not at strangers. Not at neighbors. At me. And at my 12-year-old son. I'm Rachel Morgan, 36 years old. Product manager. Mother. Homeowner. And here's the irony. They threw that word at me inside the very house I bought. I didn't cry. I didn't raise my voice. I just looked them dead in the eyes and said one sentence that froze the room. From that night on, nothing was ever the same. A fracture split straight through us. They thought I'd cave. They thought I'd keep financing their mess. They thought wrong. But before I explain why I finally drew the line, I want to know something. Where are you listening from right now? Drop it in the comments. And trust me, their cruelty. This was just the beginning. I was 18 when it all started. The inheritance that disappeared when my world cracked open. My grandfather's will left me $100,000. That money was my chance. My shot at college. A future. The life I'd been dreaming of. I held my acceptance letter in my hands, picturing lecture halls and computer labs. Then one humid summer night, my parents called me into the living room. My dad folded his arms, his voice flat. "We need your inheritance." I blinked. "For what?" My mum turned away, then plastered on this fake smile. "Andrew's starting a construction company with your father. He needs capital," she said. "It's a sure thing. We'll pay you back, Andrew, the golden child. My brother, he didn't even bother to show up. He didn't have to. They always spoke for him." "What about my college?" I whispered, gripping that acceptance letter like it was life itself. "You can get loans, Rachel. This is for the family," my dad said. My mom nodded quickly, like that sealed it. But in our house, family never meant me. It always meant Andrew. Within a year, the company was in ruins. Debt everywhere. No repayment. No apology. Not even acknowledgement. My dreams vanished in their gamble. That night, I packed my laptop, $500, and a duffel bag. I walked out. No one stopped me. No one cared if I was safe. The summer air pressed heavy on my skin. Streetlights buzzed as I dragged my bag down broken sidewalks. Every step echoed louder than the silence I left behind. Inside other houses, families laughed. None of that laughter was mine. I was 18. Afraid, but determined. They called it sacrifice. But the only sacrifice was me, ramen, silence, and resilience. The apartment smelled like dust and instant noodles. I shared rent with 2 strangers, but mostly I shared silence. My mattress lay flat on the floor, thin sheets over sharp springs. Still, it was mine, earned, not handed down. College was brutal. Daytime drained me with classes. Nights were swallowed by jobs. Waitressing, stocking shelves, tutoring. My body never rested. Some nights, I was too exhausted to eat. I lived on caffeine and sheer determination. Ramen stretched across weeks. Textbooks felt heavier than groceries. Every bill felt like a test. I couldn't afford to fail. I kept my acceptance letter pinned above my desk, yellowing with time. And the loneliness, it was everywhere. When the lights flickered during storms, nobody checked on me. When rent was due, no parent swooped in with money. The silence was deafening. But it became my teacher. My parents never asked how I managed. Twice a year they called. Voices hollow, rehearsed. My mother would ask about school, then brag about Andrew's latest business idea. It was always Andrew, never me, so I stopped waiting for love that never came. Instead, I built resilience in the quiet hours, studied when everyone else slept, coded through the night. Anger kept me awake. Pride kept me moving. By graduation, I was exhausted but undefeated. Top of my class. Computer science degree in hand. When I crossed that stage, no family clapped, only strangers. But I clapped for myself inside. A tech job changed everything. Steady paychecks replaced ramen with real meals. Bit by bit, I paid down loans. Bit by bit, I rebuilt my life. Then came marriage. A colleague. Funny, dependable, sharp. Or so I thought. For a while, I believed stability had finally found me. But betrayal found me first. The messages on his phone exposed months of cheating, hidden behind casual smiles. I didn't beg. I didn't break. I packed his bags and told him to leave. He stayed in my son Noah's life. From a distance, with money but no presence. And I kept standing. The first time I held Noah, tiny and warm in my arms, I swore he'd never feel the kind of loneliness I knew. Through every storm, I refused to bend. The resentment toward my parents grew quietly. Not wild, not forgotten, just waiting for the day I would face them again. I had built my world in silence. But silence never lasts forever. The $300,000 demand. The call came on a quiet Tuesday evening. Noah's pencil scratched across his homework, while dinner cooled on the stove. My phone lit up with my mother's name. Her voice trembled, nothing like the sharpness I grew up with. "Rachel, it's your father. He's sick. Really sick." She rushed the words, then added, "The bank's foreclosing. 300,000 owed." My chest tightened, but not from sympathy. 300,000. The same cycle. Bad investments. Endless debt. Another desperate plea. "What do you want me to do?" I asked flatly. "You're doing so well," she pleaded. "We're family. Help us." That word, family, burned hotter than fire. I hung up, pacing the floor as guilt clawed at me. Part of me whispered, "Let them drown," but another part, the child still craving closure, hesitated. Then came the voice of reason, cutting through the noise. "They're using you. Don't let guilt own you." Still I packed a bag, arranged for Noah to stay, not to save them, but to finally close the unfinished chapters. When I reached Louisville, the house greeted me with peeling paint and grass grown wild. The empire they once stole from me had crumbled into ruins. The house looked smaller than I remembered, fragile, almost like the people still clinging to it. Crossing the threshold, the past slammed into me. The warm scent of cookies I once knew had been replaced with mildew and dust. My father lay weak in the living room, his eyes still sharp, still stubborn. My mother welcomed me in. Gratitude stretched thin across her face. The air reeked of stale coffee and quiet desperation. Over that coffee, she leaned closer. Her voice cracked, but her words were clear. "You could fix this. Just cover at least 200,000. It's the least you can do for family." Her smile was brittle, her expectation heavy. I set my cup down slowly, blood simmering. "That's a lot of money. I have Ethan. I have responsibilities." My father's voice cut sharp. "You've always been selfish, Maya. We gave you everything." Everything? No, they took my inheritance. They pushed me out at 18, and now I was selfish for refusing to bail them out. Then my brother, Marcus, showed up, late with that smug grin he never left behind. "Don't play the victim, Maya. Step up, or watch us sink." I clenched my fists under the table, but then my mother's words hit like a blade. "You and your son are just freeloaders living off our sacrifices." They weren't just coming for me. They came for Ethan. My boy, my reason, my world. And in that instant, I made a promise. He would never feel the pain I carried. That night, betrayal wasn't just memory. It was alive, sitting across from me. My chair scraped the kitchen tile as I stood, my voice steady and low. Do not use my son as leverage. My mother scoffed. My father stared me down, daring me to bend. Marcus scrolled his phone, smirking, enjoying the power. Family doesn't demand what I've earned, I said. Family doesn't insult my child to open my wallet. Silence followed, louder than any curse. I walked out before rage rewrote the night. Outside, the air felt like shattered glass. I dialed Naomi, my friend, my anchor. She didn't hesitate. Good, hold your line. Tomorrow we take back the board. But by morning, my phone was blowing up. Friends, co-workers, even Ethan's coach were all asking, have you seen this? There it was. My mother on TikTok, tissues in hand, trembling for the camera. Ungrateful daughter lets us lose everything. The comments were brutal, heartless, selfish, cruel. They wanted a public fight. I chose a legal one. Naomi connected me with Laura. Sharp, precise. A lawyer who treated words like weapons. The bank doesn't want drama. They want the debt cleared. Buy directly. Own it outright. I moved fast. My savings, my investments, a manageable loan. The deed was signed in my name, not theirs. Laura drafted the terms. 5 years to stay. Structured repayments, fair interest. Miss a payment. They're out. No theatrics. No threats. A cease and desist to end the lies. We sent the packet certified and sharp. The call came quick. My mother's voice shook with fury. You think you can control us? You'll regret this, Maya. Her words hit deep. But deeper still was the memory of me at 18, standing on the curb with a duffel bag. Back then, leaving felt like weakness. Now, standing my ground meant strength. Marcus texted me one line. You're ruthless. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. That night, Ethan built a Lego ship. Are the storms over? He asked. Not yet, I told him, kneeling beside him. But we have a map now. The next morning, Laura updated me. They refused to sign. They claim they owe you nothing. Proceed, I answered, calm. Eviction would be slow. But truth is patient. I saved every message, every threat, every smear. I wasn't begging anymore. I was building. For the first time, the terms were mine. 30 days later, the house was empty. They left quietly but not gently. Curtains ripped, boxes half-packed. I walked through each room without nostalgia. Memories whispered, but I didn't answer. I changed the locks, opened the windows, let sunlight cut through the stale air. A young couple signed the lease. Their laughter filled what once drained me. The rent went straight into Ethan's college fund. Justice, not revenge. I blocked the numbers I once waited on. I archived voicemails I used to replay. Silence finally sounded like peace. Before leaving town, I drove past the house one last time. The windows looked hollow, stripped of their power. I whispered goodbye, not to them, but to the girl I used to be. That chapter was over. I wouldn't reopen it. On Saturday, Ethan and I planted marigolds. He asked again, "Are storms over now?" "Storms come and go," I told him, "but we don't live under them." I showed him the deed with my name. Strength isn't shouting, it's choosing. Choosing when to stay and when to leave. Choosing respect over approval. Every time. And maybe that's the truth I want you to take with you tonight. Blood doesn't make family. Respect does. Boundaries do. Love does. If you've been where I've been, breathe. You are not cruel for protecting your peace. You are not selfish for saying no. You are brave for turning the key. So tell me, have you ever faced something like this? Share your story. You're not alone here. I'm listening. And so is this community. I choose my son. I choose my peace. And I choose the woman I've become. If my story touched you, like it, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And subscribe for more stories of survival, betrayal, and healing. Because we are all stronger than we think.